Hello, my name is Greg. If you're wondering what this is about, then have a look at the first video in this series called Session 0, where I introduced the idea of trying to build a biblical tabletop RPG. So when I've told people about this idea, the most common question, besides asking what's an RPG, in which I've explained it's a role-playing game, not a rocket-propelled grenade, although a Christian rocket-propelled grenade would be an interesting idea. But the most common question was, why? I found that a really interesting question. It's like I can't just say, for fun? Do I have to have a deeper reason for it? Well, apparently, yes. It seems like people, or at least as far as the people I've spoken to are concerned, they're much more willing to accept something that is meant as a teaching vehicle or a Bible study, especially in regards to Christian activities, rather than just as a fun, interesting thing you can play with friends or you can do. So I guess I do need to answer the question, why a Christian RPG? I mean, besides just because it's fun. I guess there's a few reasons why I want to make one. Firstly, I'm interested in using tabletop role-playing games as a way of exploring situations, particularly morally and ethically complex ones. There's a tendency for Christians, and in fact people in general, to not really engage with some of the wider issues in society, but to spend time surrounding ourselves with people who agree with us. We think about how we see the world and how we engage with it is very black and white. That we don't really have a lot of experience with different kinds of situations because we don't generally put ourselves in those complex situations. Our lives tend to be fairly safe and contained, which means we surround ourselves with kind of an echo chamber. We have people around us who only ever act like us, talk like us, think like us, and don't challenge us. So as a result, we don't know how to act when we are challenged, so we never really grow. This is an opportunity to present those situations without necessarily having the repercussions that it would have in real life. Not just what would you do if this happened, but actually putting someone in a situation asking, what do you do now that this has happened? How do you react? What are you going to do? How do you feel? Why are you acting that way? And most importantly, why do you think the other person is acting that way? Why do you think that they think that way or respond that way? Or why do they feel the way they're feeling? So I guess the first reason is to use this as a way to have a sounding board, or maybe kind of like a sandbox to explore different situations. Secondly, and closely related to that, I think this can be a way to teach empathy. I think empathy is a skill that doesn't get taught very much today. I think a lot of people aren't even very sure what it is. I mean, we can give a formal definition, but we can't really demonstrate it very well. It's really hard to understand how other people are feeling with any real accuracy. I think everyone, if you talk to them, we will swear blind that we can understand others and that we can do it really well. And I think everyone assumes that they do it when what we're really doing is actually judging the other person's behavior according to our own perspective. Really actually understanding what another person is feeling is very hard to do. And we often don't get a lot of opportunities to practice it because we don't often get a lot of real life feedback unless we happen to ask a lot of personal questions in order to confirm our possible understanding. It takes a lot of time and practice to really understand what someone is feeling, and most importantly, why they're feeling it. I would like this game to give people an opportunity to practice that skill, to put them in situations where they need to understand the people around them, get to the bottom of what people are feeling and why they're behaving that way in order to solve the mystery, in order to solve the challenge, to fix the situation and be the heroes. And thirdly, and most importantly, I want this to be fun. These stories are adventures. There's a tendency for Christians especially to wait to be told what to think or told what to do. And occasionally, not everyone, but occasionally we can tend to be quite reactive rather than proactive. We can wait inside our own groups and listen about what to do, but then feel incredibly unprepared when a situation arises in which we actually need to do something. It's easy to sit and listen and hear what other people have done, but it's harder to actually do it ourselves. I understand that sitting around a table and talking about hypothetical situations isn't exactly the same as doing them in real life, but it's a lot safer, and also gives us the ability to actually practice important skills like listening, talking, and practicing empathy. And most importantly, it provides the context for it to be fun. It provides an opportunity to use those skills in a safe environment without affecting things in the real world, so to speak. It provides the opportunity to explore, to try new things and new approaches. The thing is that there is no one correct answer, but a variety of different ways to approach a problem. And a game like this, or an opportunity, provides the ability to fail and to realize that that's okay. What this means generally is that this RPG will not chiefly be about combat. Now, don't get me wrong, it will have a lot of conflict, but not necessarily physical combat in it. Now, it's not that I don't think combat is important. If you read through the Bible, combat's a major part of the Old Testament and Israel's history, and it can be a necessary part of a situation that someone can find themselves in. There's a famous quote by John Stuart Mill: "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." And this means actively standing against something that is wrong and engaging in physical combat if it's necessary. The problem is in determining when and if it is necessary. I think physical combat or violence needs to be an option, and it needs to be something that the characters can do, and so there needs to be a system for it. But it shouldn't be the only or even the most useful option. It needs to be one tool in a toolbox of things that players can use. Players should be able to use physical skills, but also emotional and mental skills and spiritual skills to fix problems and solve conflicts, as well as engaging in the spiritual aspect as well. So that's the challenge. Try and come up with a system to allow enough flexibility to solve different problems and challenges, but to also provide a framework to help practice skills and develop empathy and teamwork. Alright, so next video, I'll talk about the general law and the ideas behind the law of the game in terms of what are the options for different game settings, some ideas for adventures and campaigns that people can do. If you're interested in hearing more, hit the bell icon, and you're welcome to subscribe and follow the journey. Thank you for watching.